Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in again for another episode of the Tamara Tamu Show where dreams have no filter. I appreciate you for subscribing and liking and hitting the notification bell on this video so that you will be the first to know when I upload a new video. So, funny short story. So, you know how if you've been watching videos, if you are new here, by the way, thank you. But if you have been here and you've been watching my videos, you know I've been mentioning wanting to try live, going live, doing a live stream. Well, I thought that I would try that for this video this time, but I did not know that you have to have 100,000 subscribers, at least 100,000 subscribers before doing that. So I thought, oh, excuse me, YouTube, for thinking too highly of myself that I thought that I could go live. So anyway, with all of my 9 subscribers, I thank you anyway for being here. So I guess we won't be able to go live, at least on YouTube, for now. But anyway, so in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about creativity. In the last video, I called it Creativity is Key. And I went through some of the reasons why creativity is so key. And I want to talk about that some more in this video. So creativity, again, we're not just talking about getting a paintbrush and some paint and painting. We're not just talking about drawing, although that is a part of it. All right. Creativity, the first thing a lot of us do, we go to the arts. It can be that, but it is so much more than that. Creativity is key because it forces us, force is not the word that I want to use, but guides. It guides us to go back to asking those questions that scare us. So, what do I mean by that? This goes back to our dreams, the visions that we have for our life, the way that we see ourselves being and existing in our everyday lives. The vision is part of how we envision the types of people that we have around us, how we do business, where we go, where we live, all of those aspects of our lives. All right. That's what our vision entails, right? So many times we don't allow ourselves to live that out fully because we stop ourselves from asking questions such as, what would happen if I do this, and this? What would happen if I build a multi-million-dollar business? We can go beyond that, but let's just, we know millions, we understand millions, so I'm just using that as an example. What would happen if I allow myself to embrace this multi-million-dollar business that I can have, that I see myself running, that I see myself going on the journey to build it and accept it for what I see it as, not a watered down version, not the watered down version, but the way that I see it in my imagination. Allowing ourselves to ask those questions, the questions that say, here's another example. So when I often talk about, maybe one day I'll do a video where I tell my entire story, but you hear me talk about the business that I had, and I don't want to say started over, but now I'm doing it a different way. Because now I'm allowing myself to really embrace my creativity. And so I'm allowing myself to ask the questions. Well, the experts say to just stick with one thing. Well, what could my business look like if I, instead of one thing, I have 5 things? Another example, with this YouTube channel that I have, some of the experts will say, well, you find a niche, you talk about one thing, and then you build from that one thing. Well, okay, what if I don't want to talk about just one thing? What if my life experience allows me to talk about 5 things? I don't know why I'm on this number 5, but what if I have 5 things that I want to talk about? What happens if I talk about those 5 things on one platform? What can that look like? Can that actually work? Can that still provide value versus me just talking about one thing? If you have, so for example, I'll go back to the first business that I had with my apparel. So it was all apparel. And it was doing things in a way that I saw other people doing, I saw experts doing. And it was designing in a way that was not, it was designing clothes in a way that I saw on the market. But in my vision, that's not what, I wasn't allowing myself to ask those questions of, what if I design things that are not on the market? Now, that may sound obvious to some of you, but I was not allowing myself to ask those questions because I had my creativity, I had a lid, I had a cap on my own creativity. So now that I am doing my business in the way that I want, I am now asking those questions. Okay, here's a design that I have. I don't see it. What would that look like if I present that? What would that look like if I present that to other stores? If I put that in my own store, if I present that to customers, what will that look like? There are also other product that I'm working on right now. It is I'll just tell you what it is. It's a acne treatment that I have mixed up, that I've been testing on my own face. Well, business experts would say, well, you design clothes. Why would you be worried about a face product? Why not? Why not? What would that look like if I say, hey, I have a collection of apparel. I also have skincare. Why not? Here's another example. I'm an author. Now, again, some business experts would say, well, no, you can't put all of those things into one business. You got to separate everything out. Well, what would that look like if I bring all of those aspects of what I'm passionate about and I create a collective? What can that look like? Wouldn't it be cool to do that? So that is what, and before I was not allowing myself to ask those questions because it didn't sound logical. It didn't sound practical, but for me, it felt invigorating. It felt exciting. It still feels exciting. So that is why allowing yourself to be creative it pushes you to start sitting down, really asking yourself those questions that you don't want to ask, that you do want to ask, but you're stopping yourself from asking because logic is getting in the way, saying, well, no, 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 don't even ask. Don't even think about that because that's not even practical. That very thing, when you get ready to ask yourself that question, when you get ready to think that thought, and then something comes in and snatches it from you, like one of those seagulls on the beach that tries to snatch your food and said, no, don't even ask. Don't even think about it. It's not practical. That is the thing that you need to explore. That is your creativity right there. That is where the genius gold just starts to pour out. That is where your genius is. That is that thing, that question that you've been wanting to ask, but you've been stopping yourself because you're allowing that raggedy seagull on the beach to come in and take it from you. That is the thing that you need to explore. That there's so much richness in that. Allow yourself to ask that question. It may be surprising, maybe it won't be to you when you just sit down, write out the question. You could even write out the reasons why you don't want to ask the question. Now, I will say with that, be careful with that because you don't want to spend too much time in that vibration. You don't want to spend too much time in that mindset. Switch it over to the other side and say, well, no. What would I want that to look like? Not what it should look like, not what other people would say it would look like, but what can it look like? That is why it's important for you to allow the creativity to just pour. And once you do that, you'll start to be led into actions that may not make sense. Now, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that being logical and being practical is not important? No, that's not what I'm saying. Being logical keeps us from getting ran over by cars when we cross the street. Okay? Because logic says, look both ways before you cross the street. Okay? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you have to begin in having this vision and embracing it. It takes creativity. It really does. It takes exploring that. It takes exploring creativity and allowing yourself to just get into that zone and literally forgetting what it's going to look like to other people, because who cares? Who cares? If you have that vision and you continue to let time pass, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, however long, and your life is still, you still have this life, and like I said before, just you have a vision doesn't necessarily mean that the life that you have right now has not been working for you, but you know that there's something else. If you don't move from where you're at now to this vision, into the vision, into the vision, into the vision, that's no one else's fault. You can't blame anybody else. So forget what it's going to look like to other people. It doesn't matter. That is irrelevant, not your problem. That is not a you problem at all. It's not even your concern. And this is where it can be a challenge because, for example, I'll use myself as an example again. Before my apparel line, my first business, did not go the way that I wanted it to, it can be a challenge to think that it can go the way that I wanted to this time around. And there has been the thought of, well, this didn't work the first time. What are people going to say about it this time? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I know that I know what my soul wants. I know what the vision is. It will continue to be, and what the vision has grown into. So if I don't embrace that, it's no one else's fault. No one else's fault but my own. I can't put that on anyone else. Because now I have to look at the experience before and say, well, perhaps if I didn't have that experience, then I wouldn't know how important my own creativity is. Perhaps I wouldn't know the questions to even ask now to broaden my creativity had not I had that journey. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yes, that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to talk a little bit more about creativity and why it's important, and allowing yourself to really dig deep and ask those questions that you have stopped yourself from asking. Why stop yourself? You're already going to have those outside influences are already going to try and pierce that creativity veil. I didn't want to say bubble, because bubble, that almost sounds like a barrier almost, but you're already going to have outside influences trying to pierce that creativity veil. So you don't need to do it to yourself. So I hope that this helps. This video helps. If you have any questions, comment, leave a comment, leave me a question. And we're going to either get to 100,000 subscribers so I can do a live, or I'm just going to have to use another platform, build my own platform where I can go live with however many people I have on the channel, whatever. So thank you for watching. And until next time, do something creative today. Ask yourself that question. And I know I keep saying this, but it's so important. Ask yourself that question that you have not allowed yourself to ask. All right? Be creative. And until next time, cheers.